Hello everyone and welcome back to Kentucky Garden Gal. This is Nancy, and in this video we are going to talk about the spring flowers in a four-season garden. If you have been following my channel, I live in South Central Kentucky, Zone 7. I have been gardening at this location at my home. I'm in the city, so it's a city lot, for 30 years. And as I have evolved as a gardener, one of the things that I have done is created a four-season garden. And what that means is there is something of interest in my garden in all four seasons. So this is April of 2025. We're obviously in spring, and I am going to do a video quarterly for all four seasons of 2025 explaining the flowers that you can have in your garden for that particular season. So this is video 1 of 4. We're going to start with spring, and we are going to go down and look at some of my flowers that I have, and I'll tell you a little bit about them, and you can see some of the things that I have going on in the spring in my garden. And welcome everyone. As a gardener, it's always exciting for the spring. After your garden has been to bed for the winter, to see things come back to life. Of course, we have Easter coming up in just a couple of weeks, and it's just always a renewal of everything to see your garden come back to life. One of the things that you're going to start noticing is that the trees start to bloom. And this is one of the first trees that blooms in my garden, and I'll take you around and show you some of the other ones. If you'll notice right over here, this is a lilac, and lilacs, if you don't have one in your garden, oh my goodness, they smell just so beautifully, and you can clip them and take them in and then take the fragrance inside your home. But this is a lilac, and this actually was given to me by another gardener, and they often will produce flowers right around them. They'll start coming up. I don't see any. I do see looks like a Rose of Sharon has snuck up right there, but I don't see any lilacs that have started here. But this is one of the first spring shrubs. Another way to know that it's spring is when you see the dandelions. And if you look around my garden, I have lots of violets, and you know, I am not offended by these. The dandelions, that is the first food for the bees. So I just feel like I'm feeding the bees, and I have a very cottage style garden, which means that it's informal, and I like things growing up on trellises and different things like that. But seeing the dandelions and the violets in my garden, they really don't bother me at all. In this bed, I have a lot of daffodils and tulips. This is an example of a daffodil. This is an example of a tulip, and they don't quite do as well, it seems like, on film as they do in person, but aren't those just beautiful? Now there's hyacinths. This is a hyacinth right here, and obviously it's pretty much past its prime. I have some new tulips. These are from Eden Brothers, and look at these. These are just gorgeous, and I'm really, really excited about these opening up. So the best time to plant your tulips and your daffodils is in the fall. You want to get those in the ground in the fall. This is the very first year for these, So I know that as they get older, that they'll multiply and they'll be bigger and taller. It looks like some of them just aren't going to have a lot of growth on them this year. And, you know, that's okay because I know that they're there, and how I will maintain these through the season is to make sure that they're watered properly. You don't want your bulbs, which is what the tulips and the daffodils are, you don't want those to dry out so much that they dry up. So you do want to make sure that they are living a good life in the ground. This is another new tulip bed for me, and I will tell you, I planted these late winter this year. I actually happened to find a really good sale on them, and you can plant tulips as long as your ground is not frozen. Now obviously once your ground is frozen for the winter, you're past the point of being able to put your tulips in. But this is a new tulip bed, and quite a few tulips have started to come up, and I'll just keep watching them. And I believe I planted like the early and then maybe some of the later ones in this bed, if I recall correctly. Another shrub for us, it is a perennial, which means that it will return year after year, is the azalea. And I actually had some back here, and they had been here for years and years and years and died. So I did replace those this year. These are the Encore azaleas, which bloom 3 seasons. And when you go to your local nursery in your area, they are going to stock the plants that you can grow in your area. You know, obviously they're not gonna, I mean, they're gonna have some plants like tropicals that you would put in a pot and then take inside, but the majority of the plants that you find at your local nursery are going to be things that are suitable for your area. This is Solomon's seal, and this is beginning to pop up. And this was one of those plants. It was a Passalon plant, which means that I received a gift of this from another gardener. And these are beautiful when they get up. Probably in about another week they should be fully up. But Solomon's seal is another good spring plant for your garden. Here you see peonies or peonies, however you want to say it. And this too is a perennial. This is a small flowering shrub. And this is one that I just transplanted. This one and this one, literally I just transplanted these just a few days ago. Now, I did go to one of the big box stores, and this is a new peony that I have planted. And here is one that a neighbor gave me from last year. So you will see these two are perennials, and they like to come back. They do come in different colors, so what I'm trying to do, I believe that these are either pink or white, and this one is a red one, and I would really like to have a yellow one. I think those are just gorgeous. Over here you'll see that the irises have already started to bloom, and these irises they are so easy to share. This bed needs to be thinned, so if you are near me and you would like some irises, you bring your shovel and you come right on, because I am very happy to share my irises with you. What you see blooming here is a very old dogwood tree. And I'm pretty sure this dogwood tree was here when we moved here. So it isn't fully bloomed out yet. You can tell that it does have some issues, but the dogwood trees are so beautiful, and they come in different colors. Pink, white, red, but I do have some in another garden that I will show you that I just planted last year. So a dogwood tree is something that you also want to look for. This is a Kwanzan cherry tree. This has been here for about 16 years. I planted this, and it is absolutely gorgeous when it's bloomed out, and I'll try to find a picture from where it was bloomed out last year. As you can see, it's just starting. But a Kwanzan cherry tree is another beautiful spring tree. Back here you see more daffodils, and you know, when you are driving down a country road, daffodils have just been around for so long. This is what I would consider like a common or a plain daffodil, and you can literally go out into a field, sometimes on the side of the road. Oops, there's my shadow. And you can dig up daffodils. I believe I ordered these, and I believe I got these on the side of the road. Another flower that's very common in the spring are your pansies. This is a primrose, and I just planted these up, so they're going through a little bit of transplant shock. But your pansies, that was old snapdragon. Your pansies are an annual, but they will last. They will last a really long time in your flower bed. I just added some here. There's another primrose. I added some up here. So like I said, these are currently going through transplant shock, but in about another week or so with, you know, water and fertilizer, they will be doing so much better. Here you see that this azalea is getting ready to bloom. Doesn't look like too much right now, but once it's bloomed out, it's really a pretty color. This is the dogwood that I mentioned earlier, and this was just a very small bare root twig basically when I planted it, and it's actually grown. It's probably about 4 feet tall. So, you know, not very showy this year, but in years to come, I'll have I actually planted 3 dogwoods back in this back area. This is my garden phlox, and I think that this is probably one of the prettiest spring flowers that there is, and it seems like if they have something to cascade over, that they're just beautiful. So these have been here for quite a while. I have some on this side, some on this side. This is a raised bed that I usually start out flowers that are a little bit hard to grow and get them established and then move them to other areas of my garden. But the garden phlox, and this too, it's a perennial. It comes in many different colors, and it's really something that if you can, when you find it, you definitely want to pick it up and add it to your spring blooming garden. This is a little flower that I simply adore. This is a hellebore or a Lenten rose. And this actually would probably be more of a winter flower, but as you can see, it is still blooming in the springtime. And I moved these last year, so they're struggling just a little bit. But another name for the hellebore is a Lenten rose, Lenten. So you can also look for those. They come in many, many colors. I think this was gifted to me, so it's a pass-along plant. But I have seen in catalogs where there's double. I know the double Alice is just a beautiful hellebore. So that's another flower that you might want to add to your spring garden. Now there are many other annuals, shrubs, and trees that are very common in the spring, and I will put those on the screen as we're finishing up this video. These just happen to be the ones that I have in my garden, and I am always looking to add more. I did purchase 2 rhododendrons this year, and I'm going to try to get those out this afternoon, in fact, because we're expecting quite a bit of rain. But I will also just continue to put flowers so that you will at least kind of know what they are. But in this bed, I have this little fern that comes up. Over there is more Solomon's seal. There are some daffodils over there that are past their prime. But just keep adding to your garden so that you have something to enjoy. And I hope that this video has been helpful for you and informative. And I just appreciate everyone that has subscribed. Love to read the comments, see what you all are thinking. And I hope that everyone has a blessed day, and I will see you in the next video.